I want to talk today about what is going on here. As some of you may have heard a couple of weeks ago, President Trump had mentioned um, in one of his speeches the 1619 project, and a lot of people really don't had never heard of this, but I've heard of it a few months back, and as soon as I heard the date 1619, it really threw up a red flag for me. So I kind of been looking into it, and now that President Trump has even uh, brought it up into the conversation, I wanted to look at it even a little bit more and talk about it because I'm not sure that a lot of people understand um, why it's important and what and the reason behind it. Most people look at 1619. Why in the world would they talk about 1619? So anyway, what I want to do is I want to share a video here, President Trump talking about it. Then I've got another video I want to share with you too, and it goes along with the reason why it's the 1619 project, and it's very interesting. So let me see if I can get this going here. And let's see, let me drop this. Um,
The left wing cultural revolution is designed to overthrow the American Revolution. As many of you testified today, the left wing rioting and mayhem are the direct result of decades of left wing indoctrination in our schools. It's gone on far too long. Our children are instructed from propaganda tracks like those of Howard Zinn that try to make students ashamed of their own history. The left has warped, distorted, and defiled the American story with deceptions, falsehoods, and lies. There is no better example than the New York Times totally discredited 1619 project. This project rewrites American history to teach our children that we were founded on the principle of oppression, not freedom. Nothing could be further from the truth. America's founding set in motion the unstoppable chain of events that abolished slavery, secured civil rights, defeated communism and fascism, and built the most fair, equal, and prosperous nation in human history.
so
I've been on Noom for 4 months. I've lost.
So as we see there, President Trump is talking about how this is being set up, and it's already being taught in a large number of schools. And the left has used the universities and colleges for well over a century now to spread progressivism and liberalism. Now they're bringing it into the high schools and the middle schools and everything. So what they're doing with this is basically nothing more than attack. They're using slavery as a means to attack Christianity. Now, I'm going to read you a little bit here about the 1619 Project. The 1619 Project is an ongoing project developed by the New York Times Magazine in 2019, which aims to reframe the country's history by placing the consequences of slavery and the contributions of Black Americans at the very center of America's national narrative. The project is timed for the 400th anniversary arrival of the first enslaved Africans in the Virginia colonies in 1619. And it suggests that this date represents the nation's birth year. Okay, and the article goes on. So if we look at the year of 1619, you know, what happened in 1619? Well, nothing. You know, our first founding settlement in the American colonies was 1607. So why not go back to 1606? Why 1619? Well, you know, I want to show you another clip here of former President Obama speaking about Christians and slavery and Christ. So I want to show this here to you. Let me see if I can get this pulled up.
How do we, as people of faith, reconcile these realities? The profound good, the strength, the tenacity, the compassion and love that can flow from all of our faiths, operating alongside those who seek to hijack religious for their own murderous ends. Humanity's been grappling with these questions throughout human history. And lest we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ. In our home country, slavery and Jim Crow all too often was justified in the name of Christ.
Okay.
So I'm going to take some.
All right. So here's Obama basically attacking Christianity with slavery and bad things. You know, notice he didn't talk about maybe people hijacking Islam and people strapping bombs to their body and blowing up innocent people. No, he used Christianity. And in that speech there, he was speaking at the National Prayer Breakfast. So he was letting the Christians in the audience know that they didn't need to get on their high horse about religion or anything, because people have done bad things in the name of Christ. So, got another document here that I'm going to share with you because this document goes back to why they chose 1619 instead of 1606 or 1775, because we became a nation in 1776. We were British colonies. You know, the American colonies were part of Britain from 1607 up until 1776, until we declared our independence. So, you know, I don't see these people going after Britain and, you know, slavery and everything else, but we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So anyway, I want to find this other document here. I'll bring it up here in just a second. Okay, this is the Mayflower Compact, and this document was written in 1620. So this is the reason why they chose 1619, because this document, the Mayflower Compact, was written in 1620. And it was a document that the first government document of the colonies that was basically written, and it was written on the Mayflower when the purists, the pilgrims, were coming over to settle in the northern parts of Virginia, which they ended up way north and ended up landing at Plymouth Rock. But as you can see, the document says, "In the name of God, amen, we whose names are underwritten, the loyal subject of our dread sovereign Lord King James, by the grace of God of Great Britain, France and Ireland, King of Ireland's King, defenders of the faith, etc., having undertaken for the glory of God and the advancement of the Christian faith, honor of the king and country, a voyage to plant the first colony in the northern parts of Virginia. Do by these presents solemnly and mutually in the presence of God and one another." Okay, so here's the reason why the 1619 project goes back to 1619, the year before 1620, because of this document right here, the Mayflower Compact, because it says, "Having undertaken for the glory of God and the advancement of the Christian faith." These people in this document left Europe, England, the British, empire, to come to the colonies to advance the Christian faith, because they were getting persecuted over there. Once they were able to read the Bible, which was written in English, that's why it's called the King James Version, was written in English. They could finally understand it and know that the government of England and the Church of England were in cahoots with each other and keeping the people down. They wasn't preaching what God's word said. So they started studying it, and they were under persecution. So they come to America on the Mayflower. They had another ship that's called the Speedwell, and it had to turn back because it had issues. But the Mayflower made it. And they came here, as it says in this document, for the advancement of the Christian faith. That's why they wanted to come here, because they wanted to spread their faith and grow their faith, and they couldn't do that in England. That's why the 1619 project was written and is being pushed today, is because it's all an attack on the Christian faith in the United States of America. That's why they have made it one of their missions to attack the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, as calling those documents racist. Just come out here just a few weeks ago that in Vanderbilt, University of Vanderbilt, if you don't declare the Constitution, their students down there declare the Constitution as a racist document, they will give you a failing grade. So let's scroll back up here and let's see what, in 1802, John Quincy Adams described the agreement as the only instance in human history of that positive original social compact, and it is popular, and its popularity believed to have influenced the Declaration and the Constitution. So that's why they come after the year 1619, because they want to remove this. They didn't want to go back to 1606. There was no need to. 1619 takes out 1620. That's what they want to do. They want to remove Christianity from America. They could care less about slavery. The only time that they care about slavery is when they want to use it to their advantage. One thing that I'm going to say here is I heard Obama in a speech before, and I'll have to go back and find it, when he talked about slavery and things happening in the book of Deuteronomy and Leviticus. And he used that in the speech as well. And I need to go see if I can find that video. But once they can attack the American founding documents and get rid of those because of slavery, guess what? The Bible's got slavery in it. So they'll come after it too. They're already coming after it. So keep an eye out for this stuff. They've already got this stuff in the schools. We as Christians have got to stand up and start looking at these things that they're pushing and asking ourselves, why are they doing this? And start getting an understanding, because they're coming after Christianity. Whether you like it or not, they're going to. And this day and time, it's time to get off the sidelines and get in a battle and get ready to start fighting for your faith. If you don't, you won't be able to. So I wanted to share this video with you and this information on the 1619 project. And as I said, I knew about this a few months back and had seen it coming. And then when I heard Trump bring it up in the, President Trump bring it up in the speech, I knew that it was on his radar and they were seeing the same things and what was happening. So look at it, be aware of what's going on, and be ready to put on the full armor of God. I thank y'all for taking time to listen. I appreciate it if you'll share this information. God gives us the ability to learn things and speak and share things, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, you may disagree with it. I don't really care, because I'm going to speak up. And so I'm sharing this. If you agree with it, I'm asking you to share it with your friends and your family, because as God-fearing people, we need to get this information out there and let people know what the enemy's doing to destroy our country. God said, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And we better be learning. Have a good day. Bless you. We'll see you next time.